This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, and by Grunt Style. Now, with all the news from NASCAR Touring, local and international series racing, here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
A new winner in the West, and the four-race Thompson sweep is complete by this year's Wheel & Modified Championship. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast. All kinds of things. With the Thompson Speedway Motorsport Park here in Connecticut, once again by in our Concord, North Carolina studios network. Hannah, just 48 hours ago, we're here at the Speedway. You get to experience your first World Series of Speedway racing. What did you think of not only the race, but also your introduction to the?
Well, it was definitely cold, and everyone told me all weekend, they're like, it's cold, make sure you pack a jacket, make sure you pack a jacket. And I'm like, psh, it was 65 degrees here in Charlotte. I know what cold is. And it was so cold, but that did not stop the fans out there in the Northeast from showing up. It was a packed grandstand all weekend, both Saturday and Sunday for the racing. The Modifieds put on a great race. There was multiple other divisions. At one point, I actually got lost in the pits because I wasn't sure exactly where I was at. And there were so many cars and so many different divisions, I couldn't keep track. But that's great from a fan standpoint because it was constant racing all weekend long. So really cool to end the modified season out there at Thompson. Cool to see Justin Bond Sr. get that 4-race sweep at Thompson, close the season out with a win. Overall, what a great event put on by the Tour.
It is no doubt my favorite weekend of the year. 390 race cars over 16 divisions, as you mentioned. Headlined, of course, by the NASCAR Wheel & Modified Tour. A race won by Justin Bonsignore, clinched the championship a couple of weeks back at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And he said here in the press box following the race he had one more goal this year, and that was to become, I believe, only the 4th driver to sweep the Thompson races in a single season. And he did just that. He was strong from the time they unloaded, Hannah, right to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and that he was strong in qualifying. He was there for most of the race, but we saw a big LFR presence at the end of that race. You saw Craig Lutz, who just recently debuted a new LFR, was in the top 5. You had Dave Sapienza, who was in the top 3, top 5 most of the race. Bonsignore as well, and then Chase Dowling was running really strong as well before he was sidelined with some ignition problems early on in the race. So tough race to end his season in the infield, only a handful of laps into the race, but still comes home second in the points. So LFR, a strong showing once again in the Modified Tour.
For the second race in a row, a little pit strategy on pit road determined the outcome, or at least helped determine the outcome. Ryan Preece led the opening 83 laps, but a slower pit stop on the pit lane came out outside of the top 5. John McKennedy ended up in the 2nd spot for driving for Tommy Baldwin. Ronnie Silk 3rd. Preece battled back to 4th. And Burt Myers gets a top 5 here up in the north after finding so much success that is down south. Bonsignore officially won the title by 90 points over Chase Dowling. Also this weekend, Hannah, the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West in action. The Toyota Napa Auto Care 200 at All-American Speedway in Roseville, California. And a familiar name to the Bill McAnally Racing Stables, actually a rookie this season, but he's run so well, finally getting that first win.
Yeah, Cole Rouse, who joined Bill McAnally Racing at the beginning of this year. We've seen him in a Sunrise Ford racing car in previous years, returns to the K&N Pro Series this year in the West, and finally gets that win after 2 seasons of trying. So it was a cool event, especially for the Bill McAnally Racing stable, because McAnally is so hands-on and so involved, obviously, with Roseville and All-American Speedway. And so to have the BMR car show up and win at a race like that was awesome. Also, it was cool to see Chris Eggleston, a previous K&N Pro Series champion, returned behind the wheel of a K&N car, but it was unfortunate for him. I don't know if you've seen the video. He took a really hard hit early on in the race, but awesome to see Cole Rouse finally get that win in the K&N Pro Series.
Cole will join us in a bit here on the show. Rounding out the top 5 from Saturday night include Ryan Partridge in 2nd, points leader Derek Thorne in 3rd, Nick Jonidas 4th, and Travis Milburn rounding out the top 5. One race to go, and that's in just under 2 weeks' time at Kern County Raceway in Bakersfield, California. Thorne has a 26-point lead over Derek Kraus. And before the break, LP DuMoulin will join us here in the show in just a couple of moments. DuMoulin picked up his 2nd NASCAR Pinty Series championship this year, in a year where he won 3 times and scored 12 top 10 finishes and 13 starts. We will hear from the champion north of the border later in the show. But coming up next, Bill McAnally Racing driver Cole Rouse.
citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706, 800-242-1706.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Well, we knew it was only going to be a matter of time before 20-year-old Bill McAnally racing driver Cole Rouse would get to victory lane in his rookie season, and he did just that this past weekend at the All-American Speedway in Roseville, California. Cole now joins us on the guest line. Cole, welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast, and congratulations on your first K&N Pro Series win.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You won the pole. You led 58 of the race's 200 laps. Those are the numbers on the night. How'd those 200 laps go from your seat? Kind of walk us through your night and how it played out behind the wheel.
Yeah, we got the pole. Led, I think, like 15 laps or something. Then Ryan Partridge passed me. He was going a little too hard, I felt, so I just let him go. And then I kind of ran his pace, probably about 5 car lengths back. We were catching him. I could have passed him, but I didn't see the point in wearing out my tires that much. So during the middle of the race, Chris Eggleston passed me, so we were running third there. And car came to me at the end, and I mean, we were just a lot faster than the Sunrise cars at the end because they just burned their stuff up. So good race, crazy race. Man, it's gonna be a really fun race to watch, I think, if they get all the good stuff in. So a lot of bumping around, stuff like that, side by side racing. Pretty cool race to watch.
Overall, Cole, how would you sum up your rookie season with Bill McAnally Racing? 7 top 5s already. I still got 1 race to go. All but one of those finishes inside of the top 10. Good points here, obviously. Have you met your goals that you may have set going into the season?
No, I wasn't even close to my goals. Honestly, I thought goals and a half. We had a rough. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I thought we were going to be pretty good. Finished second in New Smyrna. Was going to win Kern County, but a lap car blocked me with like 15 to go leading. So I thought we were going to have a good season from there, but just a lot of people left my team, and I got put with a lot of new guys and different crew chiefs and stuff. And through the middle of the season, we weren't near where we wanted to be. So at the end of this season, we finished second, 3 out of the 5 races, and then won. So our finishes are showing now, and our cars are getting good enough to compete for wins every weekend.
Now, you ran K&N 2 years ago for Sunrise Ford, took a year off, ran super late models with Kyle Busch Motorsports, and now you're back in the K&N cars, almost ready to wrap up the season. What was the transition like to go from, supers to a full year of K&N, back to supers, and now back to a K&N car? Was that a weird transition to get back behind the wheel full time of a K&N car?
No. At one of my finale racing.
All right. Pierre's cell service is spotty where Cole is right now. Again, chatting with the newest winner of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. One race to go. And Hannah, I think he has obviously learned a lot this year. He's come a long way. And with one race to go, obviously he's adapted well with Bill McAnally Racing. Hopefully he'll be back with that team next year.
Yeah, I think going into Kern is going to say a lot for Cole and maybe what 2019 holds for him. He got that win. He's carrying that momentum into the final race of the season, looking for another win. He performed strong at Kern, and, you know, he's 20 years old, so he's really setting his eye maybe even on the next thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in K&N next year. He made his Xfinity debut at Las Vegas not too long ago for BJ McLeod, finished right within that top 20. So he's setting his sights on what's next for him as he's, 20 years old, one of the I don't even want to call him a veteran. It's, he's going to be going into his third season in K&N if he sticks around. So interesting to see what 2019 holds for Cole Rouse.
But you're right. He is kind of a veteran now with all these young drivers coming in at 16, 17 years old. He's in his third year in the series, third full-time year in the series, and, hoping to end it on a high note here in just a couple of weeks at Kern County, where he finished third back in the spring. That's Cole Rouse, the newest winner of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. Coming up, we're going to go north of the border and talk with the 2018 NASCAR Pinty's champion, his second series championship. LP DuMoulin will join us after the break.
Chris Crockett, straight from the NASCAR stands, here with another member of our Toyota racing family, Jason.
Hi there.
Oh, you seem impatient.
Oh, well, I've been holding it in for a while.
A while?
Since it started.
The race?
No, the season.
Wow. Guess you don't want to miss any action.
Nope, I don't.
Oh, did you just see Denny Hamlin take the lead?
I haven't taken my eyes off him.
Jason, you don't look so good. Can I offer you some water?
Absolutely not.
NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go in the playoffs? Learn more at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
The race weekend doesn't have to end with the checkered flag. Carry the action over into Monday with MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Log on to MRN.com and join veteran broadcaster Woody Kane and NASCAR spotter Joey Meyer as they review the race weekend and debate the biggest stories of the week ahead. Plus, some of the biggest names in the sport stop by to talk the latest topics. Make Monday your new favorite weekday with MRN Motorsports Monday at noon Eastern or anytime on demand at MRN.com.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
The NASCAR Pinty Series recently concluded their 2018 season at Jacasa Motor Speedway. DJ Kennington was the race winner, but the driver celebrating with the big championship trophy was LP DuMoulin, who captured his second series championship and joins us on the guest line now. LP, congratulations on yet another fantastic season in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Thank you all. We had a great one, that's for sure.
Now,
this championship, much different, though, from your first championship a few years ago. You and your brother, JF, moved the operation in-house, had a 3-year plan to win the title, and you did just that. So what have the last even 3 years been like for you since you made that decision?
Well, I mean, championships are like kids, a bit like kids. I mean, we love them all, but they're all different. So for sure, this one is has a different taste. I mean, it's a lot of work that was behind all of it, and working with my brother and the whole team to build up such an operation, it was very hard. And I mean, we knew it was going to be a big challenge, but I mean, it was a lot of work to find the right people, find the right equipment. Work really hard at developing that equipment and find the little tricks here and there. And I mean, you always have to work to find tricks, but I mean, this season, I mean, goes to the team and everybody that's been working all year round to give me a good car and a reliable car as well. So it's a big teamwork again, and I'm so proud of my people and my sponsor, WeatherTech, actually, and Belmar. WeatherTech signed me back for another 3-year contract in July. So it was a great way to kind of thank them back by winning the championship, that's for sure.
Now, it was a tight battle for the points all season long between Tagliani, Cole Powell was in there at one point, and it was just a handful of points even going into that final race this season. At what point did you find out that you guys had won the championship, and what were the emotions collecting that second championship?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of emotion all season long. I mean, we started leading the championship in out west and in Edmonton, so it was pretty much halfway in the season we started leading the championship. So we had a lot of pressure on us, on the team, on the driver, and we really had to stay cool and focus on the task and focus on what we had to do, weekend by weekend, and keep it up there. And then at one point, I knew we had a strong road course program for the last couple of years, and we were capable of winning on that side. But it's really with my oval program that I knew at one point we had a really strong car and a really strong team on that end, and that's what really paid off at the end of the season. So. With 3 races to go, we went to Saint Eustache, and we got shook up there by a couple of guys, and the way it ended up, we just stayed really calm, and we kept going, and we knew we had a good car and good team, and we brought it back home. And yes, it was a little tight at the end of the season, but again, there's nothing you can do with the points. You got to show up in the weekend and ready to do the same job.
Just one finish outside of the top 10 this year. That was that first race at Saskatoon a couple of months ago. You finished 8th at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway last month, the first time the series visited the United States, and I believe the largest oval that the series has ever raced on. What were your thoughts leaving New Hampshire, and are you excited about hopefully making a return to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in 2019?
That is for sure. I loved it there. I mean, it's the way that they had received us there, and then they took care of us. And I mean, the track is just obviously it's outstanding. The fans are great, and we had a lot of fun with everybody there. Of course, I want to go back. I want to do better. I mean, we had a good car, but was really loose on the long run, and I was fighting with Tagliani. So at that point, I was like, okay, at least I'm fighting with a good one, because he's the one that was the closest to me in the championship. So at that point, I was like, okay, let's be smart and bring it back home. But of course, I want to be back there next season, and for many more seasons, as well as it'd be great to go and stop by Watkins or something like that in the future as well, because it's close for us. It's close for Canadian fans as well, and the Glen it's another beautiful track. So if we could do like one of those 2-race trips, it would be awesome.
Now, speaking of New Hampshire, that goes along with a schedule including a handful of short tracks. You guys go to road courses. At one point, you guys are racing through the streets of Toronto. So you guys, the Pinty Series definitely has one of the most diverse schedules of the NASCAR touring divisions. How important is it for a driver to be able to diversify and be able to run all of these different courses?
Well, I mean, yes, it's really tricky, because you go from one weekend on oval track, and the next weekend you got to be on road course. And as you said, we go to the Three Rivers Grand Prix, Toronto Grand Prix, but we go to Mosport as well, CTMP. So these are really different type of tracks on the road course. So you have to adjust quick. You have to be very good on all kinds of race track, as well as the race style, because when you go short track to Edmonton, let's say, it's really tight, and it's totally different. And when you go and you stretch your legs at Mosport and you go for high speed stuff, so the driver has to be capable of switching from one thing to another, as well as the team. And we run 2 cars. We use 2 different type of cars to do road course and oval. So it's very important that the cars are ready, and in between the race, it's a tight schedule. Like, there's a lot of racing within not too much time. It's about 4 or 5 months. So you have to be ready ahead to react quickly in between weekends. So it has to go to the team as well on that, and to really work hard with us to be good all season long. And that Pinty series has been really challenging. And when I saw the schedule at the beginning of the season, I was really pumped about it. I thought it was one of the best schedules ever, so super proud.
So to kind of expand now off of Hannah's question, as the series champion and a veteran of the NASCAR Pinty Series, how would you you describe the health of the series right now? I mean, you look like you had great car counts and participation everywhere you went. Hannah mentioned the diverse schedule, a lot of drivers and teams that can win each week. How do you see the current health from your point of view right now?
Well, I mean, again, it has to go with the quality of the show and quality of the series itself, and NASCAR and then the whole organization behind the NASCAR Canada, and then collaboration with the sponsorship is very important. That's what helped to develop the series itself and have more people interested in coming and race with us. I mean, you got great drivers, you got great teams, and the sponsors loves it because it gives a good show, and then it's a win-to-win deal with your sponsors. And it's been 7 years now with WeatherTech, and I got 3 more years ahead of us. And of course, we want to keep them happy. But I think the show and the show on TV and all that, is great for both of us. So and the kids, I mean, there's you got Cole Powell now, but you had Latsovich that was there a couple of years ago, and you got a couple, young driver that goes among the experimented driver as well. That they do a really good job, and I think that's what the fans love too.
I love that Cole Powell is filed under one of the kids, because we were just talking about the K&N Pro Series West right before this, and they've got 15-year-old drivers. So funny to hear Cole Powell as one of the kids in the NASCAR Pinty Series. But you mentioned 3 more years with WeatherTech. You've added the 2nd championship now. So does this mean you're returning in 2019 to go for that 3rd championship?
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, every year we're going to show up. We'll work very hard to keep that car up front and give it back to those guys. It was really hard for my brother and I to get started in racing. We're not from a lot of money, and we had to work really hard, like a lot of drivers and a lot of other people in the industry. But I mean, we have to work really hard to be there, and we want to stay strong, and we want to keep our sponsors happy and people that actually partners that got involved with us for all those years. We want to keep making them proud and win races and be there at the end of the season to be ready to win a championship. So I mean, and again, you were talking about the kids, but there's a lot of them coming. They can't always find all the sponsorship for the full season, but they come in and out of the season of the series, and I think it's really cool because we need those guys to keep working hard to get the sponsorship and do the full season at one point. And what they've done in the series is they have that road course trophy and that oval driver trophy as well. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think it was pretty neat that they have done that in the series. So let's say a road course driver can do just the road course, but have the chance to win that trophy, as well as the oval drivers could do just the oval program and then get that trophy too. So it's really interesting, and get a chance to those guys to prove themselves.
Now, you do have 2 starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series way back when the series raced in Montreal in 2011, 2012. Have you ever wanted to come race full-time in the States in one of the big 3 NASCAR series here?
Of course. I mean, that's one thing I've been talking with Mario Gosselin. I mean, he's my former crew chief. We won the championship together in 2014, and then Mario was actually helping us over the winter and came testing with us as well. The preseason tests, and we still good, very good friends. And we've been talking about maybe doing a couple road course this season. But we were talking with WeatherTech about the 3-year contract, and we didn't want to mix things around. But I mean, it'd be great next season if the schedule is good for me to do a couple of Xfinity race. Again, the Glen would be great, or Road America would be awesome. I mean, Mid-Ohio, it seems like it doesn't fit in the schedule that often, but I mean, it would be awesome to get in a good car like Mario Equipment got at the front there a couple times on road course as well as on oval with a limited budget. So it'd be awesome to get back in those cars. Actually, Montreal would be great. If we can get Montreal back, that would be awesome.
I was just going to say, I loved going to Montreal all those years that we went there and were able to watch the NASCAR Pinty Series and obviously the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Great place to host a race. LP, thanks for taking the time to join us here on the show. Best of luck to you next year, and look forward to seeing you at the banquet here in December in Charlotte.
That's for sure. Thank you all.
LP DuMoulin, your 2018 NASCAR Pinty Series champion, joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Coming up, a preview of the weekend ahead, which is centered around NASCAR racing overseas.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops. On race weekend, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Chase Elliott is going to victory lane.
But when they leave the track, they're just like us, everyday people.
You know, as I've said before, I'm going to be me.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation, the world of racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevate your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Austin Dillon leads the pack. No one ever thought he would contend for the win. He's going to win the 60th running of the Daytona 500.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Hey, I'm Wing Nation Steve Post. Join Ashley Stremme and I live from the World of Outlaws World Finals. On Friday, November 2nd from 2 to 3, we'll talk with the stars of the Wing Sprint Car world at Charlotte Dirt Track's Camper Appreciation Event. It's at the pavilion next to the drag strip. We'll kick off the World Finals in style. Wing Nation live from the Dirt Track at Charlotte, Friday, November 2nd at 2. Join us there live or listen on MRN.com or WingNation.com.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Wrapping up this week's edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network. There are still 3 NASCAR tours that have events left this season. The NASCAR K&N Pro Series West will conclude their season about 10 days from now at Kern County Raceway Park in California. The NASCAR Peak Mexico Series, they still have 3 races left, with their final event at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City in December. Ruben Garcia is their championship leader. And this weekend, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series will conclude their 2018 campaign at Circuit Zolder in Belgium. Lucas Lazier has a small 2-point lead over Alain Day. 4 points back to Fred Gabillon. The series will race on both Saturday and Sunday and can be seen live on the NASCAR Whelen Series Facebook page. Hannah, back here in the States and down south, Rev Racing will have their annual Drive for Diversity Combine next week. A lot of youngsters getting set to take part in that combine here in just less than a week from now.
Yeah, what a great opportunity for these drivers all across the country, including Mexico City as well being spotlighted. They're going to head down to New Smyrna Speedway down in Florida. They're going to do a 3-day combine. It consists of everything from media training to physical fitness to impromptu interviews, on-track assessments. So it's giving these drivers an opportunity to be put in front of a team like Rev Racing with the backing from NASCAR and NASCAR Drive for Diversity, and give them a shot at a late model ride or the K&N Pro Series, which we actually just saw Ruben Garcia Jr. collect a win at Dover just under 2 weeks ago. So what a great opportunity. You've got people like Brittany Zamora from Kennewick, Washington. She just collected her 2nd Super Late Model Championship out on the West Coast. She's returning for her 2nd combine. Great to see her back. Chase Cabry, who's currently part of the team, is coming back as well to try and get another spot on the diversity program team for another year. But you've also got people like Ruben Garcia, who's returning. You've got Brooke Storer, who's a gal from Southern Florida who races late models. She's in there. Gracie Trotter races late models, as well as a couple names that Juan Manuel Gonzalez. He's made a couple K&N E starts this year. So great opportunity for a lot of these young drivers to get exposure.
Always a great event every year, and like we've mentioned, a team that has had success. They're the most recent winner in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East with Ruben Garcia Jr., who has also found a lot of success in Mexico. There's also a big race on the West Coast this weekend, Hannah, in your neck of the woods at the Las Vegas Bull Ring.
Yes, it is. It's the Senators Cup out at the Las Vegas Bull Ring, one of the biggest super late model shows that we have out on the West Coast. It draws names of all sorts, and actually perfect timing for a familiar name, Noah Gragson, who has the weekend off from the Truck Series, and he will be out there with a super late model at his home track. But he's going up against some big names. You've got people like Jeremy Doss, who's a super late model ace out of California, making the trip out to Las Vegas for another win. He's collected that multiple times. And then I think, believe it or not, I'm pretty sure my dad is going to this race. So cool to see super late model drivers from all over the West Coast make their way out to the bull ring for the Senators Cup.
I look forward to hearing about it next week here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. I'll be in Lake Buena Vista next week, so you're on your own next week here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, so have fun with that.
Yeah, I will. Until then, I'm actually going to probably hit up the rescue ranch of Chrissy Newman's. I heard they got a corn maze, animals right up my alley, but don't worry, I've got this under control next week.
All right, it is all yours. For Cole Rouse and LP DuMoulin this week, though, and producers Daryl Smith and Brian Yesowich, she is Hannah Newhouse. I'm Kyle Rickey. We will see you back here next week on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
NASCAR Coast to Coast has been brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. NASCAR Coast to Coast can be found on demand at MRN.com, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.